It's official, guys. The Fed just pumped Bitcoin. Now, everyone was scared of this moment, but the news that came out showed us that Bitcoin is, in fact, going to the moon. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name is Inay HM and welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about why I think Bitcoin is going to go to the moon now. Like legit. Bitcoin and other altcoins, and potentially it might hit the NFT space for a bit, but overall this is good for the whole market. Now, what's happened is, if you guys don't know and have no idea what I'm talking about, is that people were scared recently about the Fed meeting that was going on today at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is 30 minutes before I started filming this video. So the Fed was talking about potentially raising the interest rates. So how rate hikes could stimulate demand for stablecoins, which in turn means that when they increase the interest rate, what this means is that people would prefer staying in stablecoins. And that is because people were borrowing money in order to buy crypto or other assets, whatever it is, and they were actually paying zero interest on it, which is basically technically a risk-free investment. If they're not using their own money and they're not paying interest on that money that they're borrowing, which is great. Now, what happens is when increase those interest rates, people are going to be way more risk averse and they're not going to want to take as much risk, because right now, not only there's the risk of losing money when they invest with borrowed money, now on top of that, they have to pay interest for that. What happened is the Fed came out and said they're going to leave the interest rates unchanged and points to a possible interest rate hike coming in March. And guys, remember, I'm no economist, I'm no financial advisor. I'm just someone who buys digital coins on the internet and I buy JPEGs and I flip. The Fed has shown us that they always say one thing and do another thing. This is just how it's been. So in March, I feel like a week before, we're going to see a bear market or a correction like we saw recently. And then if they decide that they're not going to increase interest rates, we're going to see a pump again. And for that reason, I do think right now we're going to see a pump. And if you take a look at the shorter time, you can see that there has been, well, we did correct a bit, but people got super excited and pumped. So Bitcoin pumped up to 39K. Point is that right now, if you take a look at Bitcoin from a zoomed out perspective, if you take a look at it, let me remove the drawing so you guys can see this in a way more clean way. So it went up all the way to 66K, corrected down to 28 to 30K right here, and then went up all the way to 68K and now corrected. And we see a potential support at 35K. Now, if you draw a line from right here to up there, it shows us that we are on an upward trend. So if you want to think of it in terms of how people are buying and selling, people are generally buying at higher prices. So right here, they were entering at this price. The low was 28K. Here, the low is about 29K. So basically, people are willing to pay more for their Bitcoin. And right here, they are buying at 33 to 35K. Now, definitely, this doesn't mean that this support held. I need to see another candle for it to go up and then maybe potentially correct and go up again. That's what I need for me to confirm that we're back in a bull market. But for now, this says nothing. We need to wait at least a week before we see how this closes. But overall, this is a good sign. There are buyers who are interested in buying at 35K or 36K, and they think that Bitcoin is not going to drop anymore. And this is actually what drives the markets up. Now, if you take a look at other coins such as Ethereum, it's doing something similar. If you take a look right here, instead of retesting the previous support twice, what it did was it went down, it tested it, it went up, and right now it's correcting. And just similar to Bitcoin, it corrected up to here. Now, this is great news overall. For the NFT space, that's probably not the best news, because from what I've seen, when Ethereum pumps, the NFTs go down. Now, if you take a look at CoinMarketCap and we take a look at how the market is doing overall, let's take a look. Right now, this morning, everything was somewhat in the red. Right now, the top 100 coins are mostly in the green. This is the 7-day, mostly in the red. The 24-hour, 98% of them are in the green, which is great news. Another great piece of news is by Michael Saylor. It's not so much of a news, but it's something he said on Twitter. Michael Saylor, if you don't know, he's a huge Bitcoin maxi. He's been buying hundreds of millions of Bitcoins for himself and for his company. He said that our strategy with Bitcoin has been to buy and hold. So to the extent we have excess cash flows or we find other ways to raise money, we continue to put it into Bitcoin. So every single dime that he keeps, he's putting back into Bitcoin. Another great piece of news is that the president of El Salvador just bought more Bitcoin for the country. So if you guys don't know, El Salvador was the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender next to the US dollar, I believe. And what he did was he tweeted back in January 14th saying, I think I might have missed the dip this time. But then he said, nope, I was wrong. I didn't miss it. El Salvador just bought 410 Bitcoins for only $15 million only. Now, I need to make a comment on that. So recently I have been not having issues, but I feel like I'm not so much of a maxi that I used to be. Before, I used to always be, you only sell if you lose and buy the dip and buy the dip. But right now, I'm more of a take profits and move on kind of person, which is just my personal preference. However, when you see news like this, when you see a president of a whole country buying more and more Bitcoin, and you see someone like Michael Saylor who's injecting tens and hundreds of millions into Bitcoin, it should tell you that it's here to stay. Whether we drop down to 25K tomorrow or 20K, it just shows you that these people who have that much money, usually they know what they're talking about and they know how to make money. And they're not like you and I who's investing a couple thousand or a couple $100 every now and then. They're investing millions and millions of dollars. Potentially now they have billions in Bitcoin. Everything they do is well calculated, and rest assured that it must be well calculated. So what this means for the whole market, if you're someone who's in altcoins and not in Bitcoin, or if you're someone who's in the NFT space and not in Bitcoin or altcoins at all, technically you can't cancel them out. If you're in the NFT space, you definitely have Ethereum or Solana or whatever to buy those NFTs. But however, this affects all of us, because if Bitcoin goes up, if you remember the money flow cycle, it starts with fiat, where USD or euros or pounds or whatever you use, it goes into Bitcoin, and then large caps, mid caps, low caps, and then as soon as we reach somewhat of a top, the money flows back into Bitcoin. Even though this has been slightly changing, it's still somewhat true. Right now, low caps are dumping into NFTs and then back into Bitcoin or back into ETH. Currently, it has changed because after low caps, some people are investing in NFTs, and then after NFTs, it goes back into ETH, which is still pumping ETH. And right now, I feel like Bitcoin and ETH are not moving at the same time. However, for the most part, they still are. But overall, this is good for the whole market. The news that just came out from the Fed is great news as well. It's that, well, it's probably not great news for the whole country or for the whole economy of the country, but it's just good for assets and what we're investing in. And that's what this channel is about, right? So that's it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you still haven't joined my Discord, please make sure you click on it in the description. I have a surprise for people who join early, and you will be rewarded because you are my early supporters. So that's it. Like the video if you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.